First, affordable childcare and online safety are front and center on Capitol Hill, with the Senate overwhelmingly passing a bill designed to protect kids from dangerous content online. This is the first major effort by Congress in decades to hold tech companies more accountable. Senators also unveiled a bipartisan proposal aimed at making childcare more affordable. For much more on this, we have Elizabeth Schulze joining me now for more. So, Elizabeth, the Kids Online Safety Act that has bipartisan support still needs to pass the House. What are the next steps here, and how would it hold companies accountable?
And this was overwhelming bipartisan support, Trevor. We rarely see a bill like this with so much support on both sides of the aisle. But the fact is, senators came together. This was years in the making. As you say, it's been decades since we saw major legislation to try to protect kids on the internet. So the Kids Online Safety Act is now through the Senate. What it would do when it comes to how it could actually protect kids is basically put the responsibility on tech companies to take steps to try to reduce harmful content on their platform. So what that would mean, for example, they have to filter out posts that could lead to cyberbullying or online harassment. They have to also take steps to avoid some of those addictive features like auto scrolling that keep kids and teens on the platform. Also, the default setting when you open a social media platform would have to be to the highest privacy and security setting instead of having to opt into that in the first place. So really, this would create these safeguards. The companies, if they don't implement some of those safeguards, Trevor, would be held liable. So there would be an enforcement mechanism there. This would really kind of create a new template where tech companies are required to take those steps. And it comes as we've heard these broad concerns about how much social media and these online platforms are contributing to what the Surgeon General has called a mental health crisis among younger Americans. Trevor.
And this is a topic that you've reported on extensively, Elizabeth. I know that you've previously spoken with parents whose children died by suicide after they were subjected to online bullying or they were otherwise harmed by online content. What are those parents telling you to see this bipartisan support so far?
I mean, frankly, Trevor, it's relief. We've spoken a lot to these families who have been right here on the Hill lobbying senators and members of Congress more generally to try to get something done. They say that this kind of legislation is overdue. The fact that the laws on the books were written before TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat were even invented, they say that it is time to put some of the responsibility on these tech companies. And what I heard from one family who did lose their child, their 12-year-old, to a viral challenge online, they're Todd and Mia Minor. We've been following them for several months, and they were actually here on the Hill lobbying senators last week. They say that the Kids Online Safety Act, what just passed, if it had been enacted and if it becomes law, as you say, it still has to pass the House and be signed into law, but they really do think that this could have helped prevent their son from dying, and they are hoping that something can be done to try to at least prevent more children from going through what their families had to go through.
How about this proposal to make child care more affordable? Does that also seem to have bipartisan support?
Yeah, another proposal that, at least when it's being introduced, which just happened today, is coming from a bipartisan front. So this is a proposal from Democratic Senator Tim Kaine and Republican Katie Britt. What they want to do is expand access to make child care more affordable. We know that this is something so many families talk about. It would expand the existing programs and existing tax credit to make that more refundable for some families so they could basically get more money to pay for child care. And it would also create a grant program, Trevor, that would seek to give money to child care centers so they could retain their workers. We know that this is a major problem with a lot of child care centers across the country. I had a chance to talk with both of the senators about if they think this could actually pass on a bipartisan basis and if it could get through, given that it could be a higher cost. Here's what they said.
People are talking to every member of Congress, Democrat or Republican, House or Senate. We're hearing about this at home. We need to find a solution. And this is a novel, kind of a new approach.
There's a lot of good ideas, but to your point, whether it's the cost or the implementation ability, it makes it challenging. We think this is something that not only can be done, but should be done, and we believe we can garner support for it.
So an acknowledgement from both of the senators that this is something they hear about from their constituents all the time, that there is a need and a demand to actually do something about the skyrocketing cost of childcare, Trevor.
And there's not a lot of issues where you would see Katie Britt and Tim Kaine next to each other for an interview. All right, ABC's Elizabeth Schulze, thank you very much. A lot of families are going to be watching this closely.